We are going to do a science experiment today, boys and girls. So from your packet, I need you to grab your piece of paper. Mom and Dad can help you. It says sink or float. Sink or float. What is something that things float on? What do you guys think? On the water. We're going to do a water experiment today. And what I need you to do is to find a container. I have a clear one that I'm going to put water in. You can also use a bucket outside, or you could even do it in the bathtub. First, you're going to need to fill your bucket with some water. Don't fill it too high though, because you want to be able to carry it around. So I'm going to go fill my bucket up about halfway with water. Okay, I have my bucket full of water, but I don't have anything to put into it. So I need you to find 5 things in your house that you're going to try to see if they sink or if they float. So let's go find some things in the classroom. I need 5 things to see if they sink or float. Let's go look for some items. I found our counting bugs, and I think this would be a good thing to see if they can sink or if they float on top of the water. I'm going to pick one of the Ladybug bug counters. I got one of the big purple ones. I came over to the block area because I think we have a lot of really good things over here that might sink or float. I think I'm going to use one of our cars. I think I'm going to use my favorite color, green. And I have a wooden block. Should I try our wooden block too? What do you guys think? Wooden block? Okay, I need 2 more things. Our science area has some pine cones, so I think we're going to try and see if our pine cones can float or sink. Maybe. There's our pine cone. Our art area has a lot of materials that I could choose to put into the water. I think I'm going to pick one of our pom-poms. We have our fuzzy little balls that we use for art. Do you guys think this is going to sink or float? I don't know. Okay, we found our 5 items. We got a plastic ladybug from the math area. I found a green car in the block area and a wooden block. We grabbed a pine cone from the science center and a fuzzy pom-pom from the art area. When you find your items, have Mom and Dad write down what they are on your chart. I'm going to write mine down really fast. Now that I have my items and I have them written down, I need you to guess or predict if they're going to sink or float. When something floats, it stays at the top of the water. If something sinks, it's going to go all the way down to the bottom of your container or your bathtub. So let's guess and see. Is a ladybug going to float or sink? I think our ladybug's going to sink. So I'm going to write my guess down. I think the car might sink too. It feels pretty heavy. What do you guys think about the block? Is the block going to sink or float? It might sink. Let's see. The pine cone, I think that one might float. I don't know. I've never stuck a pine cone in water. And our pom-pom. The pom-pom. I think that one might float. Okay, I have all of the items that I found, and I have what I think is going to happen. Now, you're going to get to test it out, and I'm going to test out my items here so you can see if my things sink or float. Okay, I'm going to start with our ladybug. Let's see if our ladybug sinks to the bottom of our bucket or floats on the top. Let's see. Where is it? It sank. It's all the way down at the bottom. I thought it would sink. Next, I have the car. Let's see if the car sinks. I thought it was going to sink. Let's see if it sinks. Did the car sink or float? It sank. It sank all the way down to the bottom. Next, we have the wooden block. I thought that this one would sink also. Let's see if this one goes down to the bottom. Did it sink? What's it doing? The block is floating on the top. Those two are at the bottom, but the block stayed up. Okay, let's try the pine cone. Pine cone's kind of big. Let's see if it'll sink or float. The pine cone is floating on the top of the water too, just like the block. Okay, our last one, we have our pink pom-pom. Let's see, I think it's also gonna float. That was my guess. Let's see if our pink pom-pom is going to float. Is it floating? It's floating, it's staying on the top. Now, when you make your observation, you can mark it off on your chart. So,
my ladybug sank to the bottom. My car sank to the bottom. My block, I thought it was going to sink, but it ended up floating. My pine cone floated on the top, and so did my pom-pom. So I had 3 items that floated on the water, and only 2 things that sank to the bottom.
I can't wait to see what kinds of things you guys find that might sink or float.